Jim Gray here with the Down the Road podcast, an episode called Shutter Therapy. This is more of a personal reflection today. I started out as a camera collector when I was 8 years old. And for a long, long time, I was more interested in the machine than I was in photography. I shot some of my early collected cameras back in the 80s when I was a teenager, here and there. And I was always curious to see how they worked. And that's why I put film through them. But I wasn't like super interested in the photographs themselves. When I restarted collecting again in 2006, was once again primarily a camera collector, but this time as I used the cameras, especially to start reviewing them for my blog.jimgray.net, by the way, that's where photography became actually an interest for me. And now I consider myself much more a photographer than a camera collector. I have a camera collection. I still like the mechanical nature of the gear, but I'm much more interested in making photographs now. And I've built some skill and I've done some work over the years that has really been really satisfying for me. And that's wonderful. So, in the process of trying to lose some unwanted pounds, I've been walking for exercise. I don't really like to exercise very much. I mean, I'm just one of those people I don't like to break a sweat. Walking is something I can do. It doesn't require a great deal of special equipment, just my shoes. And I've got some, good walking shoes. But it's also not terribly exciting, especially, when I'm walking around my neighborhood over and over and over again. So I started bringing a camera to pass the time. It's really kind of pleasant to lose myself in photographing things, even the same old things. There's only so many directions I can walk from home, especially if I'm doing it on my lunch hour or something, and still make it back home so that I can get back to work because I work from home and I'm in the software industry. And I can do that anywhere I have an internet connection. But there are a few real benefits for me about bringing a camera along. First of all, it's the meditative nature of using the camera, especially if I'm using, something like an old folding camera or a viewfinder camera that doesn't have a whole lot of help. But even a autofocus, auto exposure SLR, there's still something about bringing the camera up, framing the shot, composing, dealing with settings, making the exposure. All of that is routine and ritual and thoughtfulness and mindfulness. The next thing about it is seeing how the familiar subjects look through the various different lenses and on different films as well, because I mostly shoot film when I do this. Occasionally I'll have a digital with me, but mostly film. That tree takes on a whole different timbre in this light through that lens on that film. And the last one is kind of a game I play with myself on finding new ways to see familiar subjects. I know I've shot that fence in front of the retention pond 100 times, but is there a new angle on it, another way of seeing it? Can I find it? Can I go into my mind and really pre-see something and go try to make it real? We've had a rough winter here at home. There's been some family stuff. It weighs on you, right? And plus that I'm trying to work at the same time. It's not always easy. But getting out for a walk with a camera in my hand has really been a godsend. It's been a good way to forget about my troubles for a minute, focus my mind on something completely different while I'm also doing something physical. It really presses my mental reset button. I'm Jim Gray. We'll do this again next week.